welcome back to the QST YouTube channel. Hope you guys had a happy winter holiday and a happy new year as well. But now it's about time we start going back to school, and now I'll be explaining the week the term 2 week 1 math quiz for grade 11. Let's go. Consider the following function given by y is equal to f of x is equal to 4x squared minus 3x cubed. Which of the following is true about this graph? So for this question, we need to take the term with the highest degree. So in this case, negative 3x cubed. So negative 3x cubed. I'm just gonna put parentheses here. It decreases without bounds. Okay, so look, when they say x goes to positive infinity or negative infinity, try substituting it by negative 1, let's say, for the first option. Because they said x goes to positive infinity, let's substitute by a positive number 1, which would be the easiest. So negative 3 into 1 cubed is equal to negative 3. If the result of this multiplication you get is negative, it will be decreases. And then let's try the same with a negative number. Negative 1 to make it easier for the calculations. So negative 3 into negative 1 cubed is equal to 3, which is a positive number, which means it increases. Number 2, right? Which of the following is true about the function f given by y is equal to f of x is equal to 8x over x squared minus 64? So for the vertical asymptote, you make the denominator, which is in this case x squared minus 64 equal to 0. So x squared minus 64 is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to 64. X would be equal to plus minus 8, which are our vertical asymptotes. Plus minus 8, as we have here. Y is equal to 0 is a horizontal asymptote for this graph. So for the horizontal asymptote, we divide the numerator, like the term with the highest power in the numerator, you divide it by the term with the highest power in the denominator. So you do 8x over x squared, which will get you 8 over x. Now for the vertical asymptote, try substituting x by infinity in this case. So let's say 8 over infinity. Infinity is a very large number, of course. So let's take 8 over a billion. That would be really close to 0. So we will round it up to 0, which is why 0 in this case is the answer. Number 3. The figure above shows the graph of a cubic function f. Which of the following could be the equation of this function where k is a constant? First, let's find the intersection point where it intersects the x-axis, which is at negative 3. So that means all of the equations that we should have left should have x plus 3. X plus 3 with no other roots. So x minus 3 here, no. X minus 3 here, no. So now we have these two left. So I'm gonna show you how the, let's say, x plus 3 cubed function would be. So here, let's say here we would have negative 3. And it would go something like this. Or like with this shape, which is clearly not the case in this graph. So we would go for this one. Number 4. Given w of x is equal to the integral of 40x over 2x squared minus 1 dx, what is the value of w of 0 minus w of 1? First, let's start with the rule of integration. So let's say integral of ax to the b, right? We would do ax to the x will be to the power of b plus 1 over b plus 1. So now let's split the 40x and the 2x squared minus 1 to make things easier. So 40x times, since 2x squared minus 1, all of it squared, we take it up. So we just make the 2, like the squared, negative. So 40x into 2x squared minus 1, all of that to the negative 1. Negative 2, my bad. And now we're gonna do the u sub rule. So first, let's take u to be 99% of the time it's gonna be the function, like this equation inside the parentheses, not the entire 2x squared minus 1 to the negative 2, not the 40x. It's 99% of the time the equation inside the parentheses. So u in this case would be 2x squared minus 1. But du, which would be the derivative of u, is equal to 4x dx. The dx will come into play very soon. 4x dx. Okay, so now what is du in terms of 40x dx? So here we have 4x dx, but here we have 40x dx. To get 40x dx from 4x dx, we just multiply du by 10. So 10 du times u to the negative 2. Then with the integral sign. And now we integrate. You can take 10 out as a function actually, like as a constant. And now you integrate. The du disappears since it's the derivative. Then the integral with the derivative it's gone. So 10 times negative u to the negative 1, which is negative 1 over u. 10 into negative 1 over u. Now let's multiply and substitute u by 2x squared minus 1. So negative 10 over 2x squared minus 1. But this is the derivative. Thing is, they want this of 0 minus the function of 1. So we're gonna just do this to signal the change, 0, 1 to 0. And then we're just gonna substitute x by 0. So negative 10 over negative 1 minus negative 10 over 1. So 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, which is what we have here. Five. The region bounded by the x-axis and y is equal to x minus x squared over 2 is shaded in the diagram below. Its area is expressed by k over 3. Find k. Now look. This is a bit tricky, but it depends. Look, here there is an intersection, right? The function x minus x squared over 2 intercepts the x-axis at 2. So let's keep this into mind. Whenever we hear area, we integrate. خلاص. So now we know the operation. We integrate from 0 to. So first of all, we're gonna need to find the first, the other limit, which at this point, which will be the next intersection, which in this case is 2, 0 to 2, and then you just integrate the function x minus x squared over 2. And then here, look, again we're gonna integrate, but this time from 2 to 3. But as we can see here, the area is down. It's in the negative side. It's below y is 0. So all we're gonna do is, instead of making it plus the second integral, we're just gonna make it minus. And then we're gonna again integrate the function x minus x squared over 2. And then we're gonna plug this into the calculator. From 0 to 2, x minus x squared over 2 minus x from 2 to 3, x minus x squared over 2 again, will get 4 over 3. Number 6. What is the value of the integral from negative 2 to 2 of x cubed minus 15x squared? Okay. So here I'll integrate manually, so I can help you guys out. So from negative 2 to 2, again the rule, let's say we have ax to the b, and we're willing to integrate. So the rule will be x is going to be to the power of b plus 1 over the power, the new power, so b plus 1, which in this case x to the 4 over 4. Now no need to put the integral sign because it will start confusing. Minus 15x cubed over 3, which is 5x cubed. From negative 2 to 2, which means we will substitute x by negative 2 and x by 2 and subtract. So when we substitute x by 2, we get 4 minus 5 times 8, 4 minus 40, which is negative 36, minus, when we substitute x by negative 2, again we get 4 minus 5 times negative 8, negative 5 times negative 8, which is 4 minus negative 40, which will give us 44, and then negative 36 minus 44 is equal to 80. Negative 80, sorry. Number 7. The region bounded by the x-axis and y is equal to x cubed over 4 minus 2x to the power of 3 over 2 is shaded in the diagram below. If its area is expressed by k to the 5. Now look, again, as we can see here, the area that they want us to shade, that they want us to calculate is in the negative side. So we just multiply the answer we get by negative 1, which is what we will do. So negative, integrate the function from 0 to 4, x cubed over 4 minus 2x to the power of 3 over 2, and you will get 48. Okay, this is really easy. The integral of any constant is gonna be, so let's say here we have 10, the integral is just gonna be 10x from 2 to 5, so 50 minus 20 is equal to 30. Done. Number 9. The area of the region enclosed by the curves y is equal to 2x squared plus 1 and y is equal to negative 2x plus 1 is k squared units. What is the value of k? So first of all, we need to find the limits. How do we find the limits? We equate the two functions to each other. So 2x squared plus 2x is equal to 0. So you plug that into the calculator and you get that x is equal to 0 and x is equal to negative 1. Now look, in a case where the area that they want us to look for is enclosed by two curves, we're gonna do the bigger minus smaller. Now you may ask, how will we find the larger function? So what we're gonna do now is take a value between the limits 0 and negative 1. So let's say negative 0.5. So 2 times negative 0.5 squared plus 1 will give us 1.5. And then negative 2 into negative 0.5 plus 1. Here we have 2 and here we have 1.5. So this is the bigger function. So now what we're gonna do is integrate from negative 1 to 0 and then negative 2x plus 1 minus 2x squared plus 1. Let me plug this into the calculator. Negative 1 to 0, negative 2x plus 1 minus 2x squared plus 1. You're gonna get 1 over 3, which is what we have here. Number 10. Okay, fill in each blank with the whole number. So integral of 70x squared radical x is equal to, okay, the first part is easy. Since we have common bases, we just add the powers. So 2 plus 1 over 2 is 5 over 2. And then they just integrated, so becomes 70x to the power of 7 over 2 divided by 7 over 2, which is just multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 2 over 7. So multiplying by 2 over 7, which is equal to 20x to the 7 over 2. And then we have to think like just gonna do 7 over 2, no, 7 over 2 minus 1 over 2 will give us 3. So that will be the power of x that's left outside. So 70x cubed radical x plus c, which is the answer they're looking for. Number 11. F of x is equal to the integral of 300x squared plus 24x over 2 dx. So again, integrate 150x squared plus 12x. And then we're gonna integrate like the rule. So 150x cubed over the power, which the new power, which is 3. So 150 over 3 is 50x cubed. Plus, again, we do the rule and we get 6x squared, which again is the answer they're looking for. Number 12. Fill in the blank. Okay, so this is simply 120 times x to the negative 4 and then you do the rule. So 120 over negative 3 times x to the negative 3, which is negative 40 x to the negative 3, which as always is the answer they're looking for. Consider the curve C that represents the graph of the function f given by y is equal to f of x is equal to x minus 2 squared times x plus 10. F prime of x is equal to 3 into x minus 2x plus 6. So here they gave us the derivative and they just want the table of variation, the things you get from it. So again, x negative 6, since the roots here are negative 6 and 2, so negative 6, 2, I'll just put y here, y prime and y. Here y prime is 0 at negative 6 and 2, and then we're gonna look at the sign of, we're just gonna look at a, in this case it's 3, so it's gonna be, since it's a quadratic equation at the end, right, because it's like x is gonna be squared, all we need to do is just do SOS of the sign of a, which a is positive. So positive, negative, positive, up, down, up. Okay, so it's increasing when x is less than negative 6, like here, and more than 2. which is to the right of 2, and it's decreasing when it's in between. F of x has a local maximum at -6, which means going up then down, which is going on here. And then simply we can just substitute -6 in the original function to get the value there is at what? So -6 minus 2 squared into -6 plus 10, which is 256. And then local maximum at 2, and the value there is 0. It's quite obvious because 2 is also a root in the original equation. Okay, so this is arguably the most annoying question. So let's start. A curve for which the second derivative is equal to 6x minus 18 has a stationary point 2, 3. The equation of the curve is y is equal to x cubed minus 9x squared plus 24x minus blank. So they just want us to integrate twice. So first let's integrate once. We'll get 3x squared minus 18x plus c. But here they gave us a really important detail where it has a stationary point at 2, 3. So this is the first derivative, right? Because the integral is the antiderivative. So, and when it has a stationary point, that means if you substitute the x of the stationary point, it's gonna give you 0. So we're gonna substitute x by 2 in the equation. So 3 times 2 squared minus 18 minus 18 times 2 plus c is equal to 0. You're gonna get c is equal to 24. So to save time, let's just deal with the maximum minimum. Let's find the roots first. So 3x squared minus 18x plus 24 is equal to 0. X is equal to 4 and 2. So 2, 4, 0, 0. Again, SOS, we have the sign of A. Same, opposite, same. So the maximum will be at 2 and the minimum will be at 4. So we have these two parts done already. Now let's move on to finishing part A. So again, we're gonna integrate the 3x squared minus 18x plus 24. We're gonna get x cubed minus 9x squared plus 24x plus c once again. This time we know that this point also belongs on the curve. So that means when x is substituted by 2 in the original equation, which is this, it's gonna give us 3. So now let's get c. So 2 cubed minus 9 times 2 squared plus 24 times 2 plus c is equal to 3, and you're gonna get c is negative 17, which is the right answer. Number 15. Given that f of x is equal to integral of 4 over radical x plus 10x to the 4 dx, and that the graph of y is equal to f of x passes through the point 120, find an expression and substitute by this x. So first of all, let's like take the radical x up, so that will give us 4 times x to the negative half plus 10x to the 4. And then we're gonna integrate. Since negative half plus 1 is half, so 4 to the power of half. Then once we try to divide by half, we just multiply by 2, so we're just gonna do it 8. X to the half is radical x, 8 radical x plus 2x to the 5 plus c. Now here we need to find c and then substitute by 4. So here they gave us a point that works on the line. So when we substitute x by 1, it's gonna give us 20. So I'm gonna do 8 radical 1 plus 2 times 1 to the 5 plus c is equal to 20. You get that c is equal to 10. And now let's actually substitute c by 10 and move everything. But here they want us to substitute x by 4 and figure out what it gives. So we're just gonna substitute x by 4. 8 radical 4 plus 2 times 4 to the 5 plus 10, which is 2074. Number 16. 49x squared radical x is equal to, okay, so 49 x squared radical x is x to the 5 over 2, and then you're just gonna simply do the rules. So 49x to the 7 over 2 times 2 over 7, which will give you 14x to the 7 over 2, which is also 14x cubed radical x. Now let's move to question 17. The area of the region enclosed by y is equal to x cubed and y is equal to 16x is, so look, as we can see, we clearly have the higher line, which is 16x. So all we need to do is integrate from 0 to 4, 16x, which is the bigger, and which is what I meant in the previous question. Bigger means higher. So 16x minus x cubed, which is gonna give us, so again, from 0 to integrate from 0 to 4, x cubed 16x minus x cubed, which will give us 64. Number 18. Okay, these you can simply do on the calculator. From 1 over 2 to 1 over 4, two over x to the 5, which is negative 120. Then again, you're gonna do the same thing on the calculator, since calculators are allowed most probably. 25x to the 4 into x to the 5 plus 1 to the power of 4, which is 32. Number 19, second last question of today. The area enclosed by the curve 3x squared plus 2x plus 4, the x-axis and the line's x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2 is 14 square units. So now let's try and find the root of 3x squared plus 2x plus 4. Actually, you don't need to, since they said like they want it in between the lines x is 1 and x is 2. Just from 1 to 2, integrate the function 3x squared plus 2x plus 4, and you will get 14. Now for the last and final question of today. The area enclosed by the curve 6x squared minus 12x, the x-axis and the line x is equal to 4. Now look, this is a bit tricky, but it's not that hard once you know what to do. So first let's find the roots to find the limits. So 6x squared minus 12x is equal to 0. That will give you x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. Look, in my opinion, I would say do the integral separately, right? From 0 to 2, let's say. From 0 to 2, 6x squared minus 12x. Just plug it into the calculator. So 6x squared minus 12x, which will give you negative 8. Now see, this is why I prefer to do the integral separately instead of immediately adding them in one equation. Because here you'll get a negative number, and if the other integral is more than 0 and more than 8, you won't be able to know. So you could put it in, you could put the entire, like each integral in absolute values, or the best way, just do the integral separately then add. So this is equal to negative 8. We'll take the absolute value, which will give us 8, and then we find the other integral from 2 to 4. 6x squared minus 12x will be equal to 32, and then you add these two together to get 40, which is what we have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We wish you guys the best of luck in all of your exams, and goodbye.